years, and I joined coaching just about a year and a half ago. I was up at a Blueprint event with Bill Pipes in New Jersey, and I was on the fence. That year I made about $130,000 at the time, and I was actually broke. And Bill just told me, he literally said, just fucking do it.
I'm known to use that word on occasion.
What he said. So I did. My first year in coaching, I did $375,000 on GCI.
Yes.
Carried
Hold on, 375, guys. Is that awesome?
And right now, we're at $400,000 GCI. That's a single agent with an assistant.
Single agent, an assistant, 400 already this year. Amy, I guess we're doing the panel standing up. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
My name is Amy Powell. I'm with Coldwell Banker. I work in Jacksonville, Florida, Ponte Vedra, Florida, and the surrounding beaches areas. I got my license in 2005, and I had 3 children under the age of 5. So I'm a single agent. I started coaching 4 months ago, and I did $2.1 million last year. I didn't have a driver's license or a car, and this year I should finish up at about 5.5.
5.5, that's a million. Is that
that's volume, but that's started coaching 4 months ago, and got a driver's license 60 days ago. So 60 days ago, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a license, didn't have any money, and I just had to be willing to do whatever it took to make a change, and don't stop before the miracle happens.
I love it there. Awesome. Yeah.
Jeremy Cady from Jacksonville, Florida as well. Amy. And I am about 22 months into the real estate career. I was formerly in a family business that was great, but just kind of had not fulfilled me any longer. So I got my real estate license August 4th, 2014. I signed up for coaching August 5th. The next day, very gutsy.
So brand new?
Yeah.
Like brand new?
One day licensed. Kind of stupid, but it was crazy. And then the next day I flew to the summit, which I pretty much didn't sleep, and I just listened to Tom Ferry fill my head with like things I'd never heard before, because I didn't come from a very coached background. And my coach basically said, you better set goals so big that it makes your narrow-minded friends nervous. And that was something to think about. But we did, we set our goals really big and rolled into 2015 and closed 62 sites my first year, 17,400,000 GCI.
I've talked to so many new agents out here, and they're like, I just got to get my feet wet first, and then I'll start, taking on, some of these new things. Why did you make the decision right at the very beginning to be able to like, as a brand new agent, one day in the business, I'm a hire coach? Why, man?
I've been in the other business for a while, and I say this with all respect to agents in the room, but it seems like the real estate industry is filled with very interesting people. And it seems like it costs $300 to get your license, and even to go cut hair somewhere, you have to take 1,500 hours worth of schooling, and it costs 10 grand or something. So it seems like real estate agents don't, and I didn't at first either, run their business the way that it can even be run like a business. And so I just said, I'm going to hopefully shorten the time it takes to get that point where everyone says you're successful. And the Ferry organization was amazing. They came very highly recommended. I had no clue that it was going to be as awesome as it was. And it truly changed my life. If any of you are considering coaching and aren't, you just need to do it.
Nice.
Seriously.
Let's talk about what it's done for you. Amy, you're only 4 months in, okay? 4 months in, you go from, not having a car, getting a car. I mean, what can you accomplish in 4 months? Let's be honest. I mean, because it's such a short amount of time. Who's your coach?
Beth.
She's amazing.
She is amazing.
Yeah,
She's amazing. The other thing I'll say is in the packages, there's a little pamphlet where you ask you questions, and I think trying to do kind of like a personality profile. My coach was hand-selected to work with me, and it's been a perfect match. We have a really high level of trust. I had to be willing to be vulnerable, tell her what my weaknesses were, tell her what my personal challenges were, because I had some strong personal challenges. And how many of you have ever had a bad day? How many of you have ever made a bad decision? I thought long and hard about this. I was asked to be on this panel, and I've only been in coaching 4 months. I'm not a rock star real estate agent closing 200 deals a year. And I really thought, should I be honest and should I be vulnerable, or should I sugarcoat it and just say I had some things? Well, you know, real estate agents like to work hard and play hard. In 2013, I got a DUI and was in a terrible divorce battle. Anyway, you know, the crap hit the fan in my personal life, financially, marriage, work. It took about 2 years for that to go through the process, and I did get a conviction 2 years later. While I was putting the pieces of my life back together as a single mom with 3 teenagers and no help, trying to sell real estate with a happy face. 2 years into it, I lost my driver's license. I had to go to jail for 10 days. My customers thought I was on a cruise.
Smart.
I just said I was out of pocket. And the guilt and the shame just was weighing on me. And I was desperate to do something different. And, you know, I just had to make some changes, and I did. And I've been coaching for 4 months. I got my driver's license when I started coaching. I didn't have a license. For the last 16 months, I've been Ubering and getting rides from people to meet my customers and sell real estate. So, you know, I'm back on the road now, but my coach said, Amy, you had a bad day. You had a bad day. You just pick up the pieces and move on. The one thing I wish I had done was start coaching in 2005 so I could have a plan and be purposeful. I was very haphazard, you know, and just kind of reactive. So this has given me tremendous focus. When they talk about the ecosystem, it's no joke. It's a family. I have access to everything I need, really 24 hours a day.
So do you have a plan now? Did you guys create a plan?
I have a plan. I did an open house, my version of a mega open house, you know, in a short period of time. Listed the house, got 4 offers in 5 hours, and closing for full price. I went out and did some door knocking, and I didn't door knock that many doors, but I closed a $600,000 sale the day before I came here.
From door knocking. How critical was your relationship with Beth as you were getting back on the horse, so to speak?
I had to feel safe, and I was already, by the time she got me, I was so beaten down from just, you know, life. And I started thinking, you know, and I had started cleaning houses in between just to keep my lights on and take care of my kids, and selling real estate and keeping my secret, and trying to show up at appointments and not have people find out. I had to surrender to the process. I borrowed the money for coaching, borrowed the money to pay my rent for 3 months, and this $600,000 sale, I cleaned a house that morning, went home, took a shower, did a superwoman change, showed up at the closing. These are both doctors, and they think I'm amazing. And
Hold on. You are freaking amazing.
Believing in myself. So I'm doing the footwork, I'm doing what is suggested, I'm following a plan, I'm trusting this team of professionals that I have to help me. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, and I am a really good real estate agent.
Being very quick. right? You don't know this. Carrie Craig trained me to be a coach. Like that's who you got, right? Like when I was like wet behind the ears, she took me and trained me to be a coach. So you got an amazing woman, right? What have you guys worked on that's made such a impact? Because what you've done is incredible, man. So how have you gotten there? How have you guys worked together to navigate through and to create what you created?
Well, we've done a lot of mindset, a lot of systems, and a ton of accountability. She is the badass. She holds me to everything. I want you all to know, in the spirit of what you said, we all have our demons. Believe me, I have them. I was going through a catastrophic divorce when I signed up for coaching. And all I'll say is, imagine the amends that you can make with $800,000 plus in GCI. It gives you power. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, sure. How do you do it? How do you do it? So how do you generate the business? What's the process that you go through? How do you do it?
Okay, so mine is, I go heavily after expireds. And I've got a system. I actually don't love being on the phone. You get better at it. But I do love being face-to-face. I do love getting in front of my customers and trying to relay to them that I actually do care and value their business and that their house sale is more than just dollars, that it affects their lives. And I go get face-to-face. And then on top of that, my assistant, we send out 4 pieces of direct mail. So we're having 5 touches with an individual client. I like to target the luxury end. It works at any level. And that's what I try to do. It works very well. Like she said, you actually don't have to have a lot of conversations. You know, if you show some empathy, show what you're going to do differently, the listings come. And then you leverage everything you get. If you get an $800,000 deal, $800,000 listing, leverage the living hell out of it.
How do you do that? How have you carried work to leverage these listings, man?
It needs to be, you need everybody to know what you accomplished. So your successes, make sure that everybody in that neighborhood knows and ask the questions. Have it programmed in your head. Do you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell? You know, are you curious about the value of their home? Recite that so it comes out naturally, and then when you deliver value, people recognize it.
Did you ever think, okay, because we were in Meadowlands, right?
Yes.
We're at Meadowlands, that huge convention hall, man, gigantic. I remember that because I was speaking that morning, and Tom took my entire speech and did it himself. I don't think you knew that, right? And he walked off, and I'm like, I'm gonna kick your ass, dude. So did you ever think that a year and a half ago, right, that you would be in this position?
No.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What's the next stage?
Breaking $1 million in GCI.
$1 million in GCI. When?
Carrie wants it now to be this year.
Carrie wants it now to be this year. Nice. Okay. Do you believe you can do that?
I actually, with what we've done, as we're talking about double-ending a $2.5 million deal or putting it together, I actually...
$2.5 million, that's $5 million. And your average sales price was 18 months ago, 2 years ago, how much was it?
$225,000.
Holy crap, is that awesome, guys? Yeah, right on. How did you shift from 200 to 2.5 million, man?
Honestly, I started following the system. I started following Tom Ferry's system, and I'll be honest, I don't really do it that well. You fill out that profile. When I did it, there was a lot of 1s and 2s, a couple of 4 and 5s. There's still not a lot of 4 and 5s, but I follow the system, I believe in it, and I truly love Carrie, Bill, and Tom.
Thanks, man. We love you too, man. Like it's like this is inspiration, man, to see what's going on. Can we give Aaron a huge Are you guys noticing it's not that complicated? Are you guys getting that? You know, like these guys are they're like this. Yes, whatever you need me to do, right? Like just tell me and I'm gonna look at Amy. Amy's like, okay, good. Okay, great, Beth, whatever you tell me to do, coach, I will do it. You know, Erin is like, Carrie wants this. Is she pushing you?
Oh, dude, she literally made me upgrade to a lead. It was not optional.
Nice.
It was one step before the conversation of, I will fire you if you don't do it.
Yeah, because it was time, wasn't it?
It was time.
Yeah, and just like it's time for you to make $1 million.
Yeah, and I was honestly dragging my feet, not because I cared. The money was okay. I mean, everybody should respect money, but it was the accountability that was going to come with it.
Yeah.
We're talking about a hard-ass woman, and now I have to talk to her every day.
You should tell her that she'd love to know that her ass is hard, right? I'm gonna tell her you said that about her. Awesome, man. Jeremy, man. Awesome. Beautiful. Dude, tell them, I mean, you're crushing. I mean, you are just crushing, man. First year in the business, 62 trends. How many would be okay at 62 sales in your first year? Raise your hand, say aye. Yeah. How do you do it?
Holy moly. I think you just putting your hands over your eyes is exactly what I did. And I realized that I was spending way too much money on my coach. Nothing is happening. And I remember the moment when I think I was prospecting 3 to 4 hours a day, like from 9 to noon, 9 to 1, every Saturday, door knocking like a crazy man. I didn't come from this industry, so I didn't know that was weird. I didn't know that very few agents even did that. So I remember the moment, it was in December of 14, 15, whatever. I looked at my whiteboard on the wall, which my coach made me go buy the paint, put the paint on the wall, and put all my leads up there. I remember my partner walking in, and he's like, dude, what's on the wall? And I said, I just did the math, and I had $10 million worth of listing leads on the wall. And at that moment, nothing made sense until that moment, where I was like, wow, these phone calls are actually working. And then in 2015, it's like the listings just exploded. And I know I never would have got those listings if I wouldn't have had the script, had the coaching, had the accountability, had a coach that said, what is your problem? Why didn't you make your phone calls? And all of that stacked up to the ecosystem of basically returning what you put into it. And what's happened now is really interesting. There's this magic thing that's happened. It's called momentum. I mean, everyone has experienced it. This momentum has started to happen. And I was fortunate enough to bring my sister on. She's joined the team. She's equally or more of a rock star, and she's killing it. Brought on a buyer's agent, hired a personal assistant, and this year we've already crossed our volume this year that we did last year as of June 30th. And so I know that I never would have been in the mindset, in the mental state without, and I'm not trying to make this a coaching plug, but it was the catalyst that made all of us, I believe, think about the right way to do it. I mean, they say the average agent a new agent does 5 or 10 deals a year. And I know that if I wouldn't have had a coach and I wouldn't have been told to put my goals as high as I did, I would have been happy with that.
You would have happy like $42,000.
Oh my gosh, for sure. It's a great salary. Make $60,000, $70,000. That's wonderful. And I know what my mindset would have been there. But where can you go where your coach sends you a list of like 14 books to read and says you must read these books? And that's some great coaching, and that piece of it I know has been the catalyst. But where our business comes from is calls. We are a phone company.
How often do you, how often are you calling? How many people?
We have a very, very strict system now. I will admit that when we got busy this year, our calls had lacked off a little bit. And some of it has been strategic, because what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to create all these deals and then be so busy and not have raving fans. That's our line in our system, is we want to create raving fans. That's our staff meeting on Monday, that's our Google Hangout conversation. We don't want clients or customers, we want raving fans. And so when I was spending all the time this year calling, I was actually engaged in a lot of deals, so we pulled back on that a little bit. But we, as a team, we're trying to make 18 to 20 new conversations every day. And that is freaking nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to call 120, 130.
18 to 20 each person on the team?
No, the team total.
The team total.
20 conversations. And that math is what we were shooting for this year, because Coach, of course, made us double our goals this year from what we did last year. It wasn't enough that we did what we did last year, we had to double it. So
nice.
We doubled it.
You doubled it. And you're going to double it again?
It's trending that way.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that awesome, guys? So what do you say to these guys that are nervous about making calls, nervous about prospecting, nervous about...
It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to go, oh my gosh, I get to talk to 20 new people that I never talked to today. How do you get through it?
I think that the switch turned on a while ago where I realized that it was mindset. And so I do the morning routine. I try to get up at the same time every day. I try at my hardest not to set any morning appointments. I mean, that was a big game changer for me. Like, absolutely no, NO, not, I mean, I don't care if you're the president. We break that sometimes, but we try not to do mornings because it's like a slingshot. And I learned this from Thomas, that if you get your day going right and you set it right in the morning, you have a very successful day. So quit scheduling morning appointments, and then at 8:30, I practice my scripts, and at 9, we get on the phone. And I try to call
As a
from 9 to
team,
11.
like the whole team gets on the phone?
Not as much. My sister works with a lot of buyers, so I handle the load of the prospecting.
Yeah.
But as a group going forward, our goal, I'm just going to put this out there in front of everybody, we want to do Team Plus coaching next year.
Right on,
That's the
baby.
goal.
I love it. Yeah.
Because we want the team to be involved in the whole process and read the scripts and prospect and call, because I won't sustain the growth myself.
Yeah, and you got to, it's leveling yourself up. And all businesses knows that you got to level yourself up at some point. And there's only so much that Jeremy can do before it's time for the next level. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, awesome. Amy, you're a mom,
Yes,
okay, of 3.
3 teenagers.
3 teenagers. There's, Tom and I say our avatar is, a woman in her mid-30s to late 40s, right? Maybe early 50s, that has raised a husband or 2, right? Okay? And has done really well, fallen off, come back, right? Sort of fits you when you're much younger, right? Okay? So the question I have for you is, how do you maintain mom? How have you and Beth in that short amount of time worked to maintain mom and also powerful business professional?
Well, I doubled, last year my average sales price was 141,000. This year it's 447,000 so far.
Wow.
And I moved to a new location, so I'm getting to know this new area because I wasn't driving for the first year that I lived there. Price point's higher and leverage. If I get a good, the $600,000 sale, I'm going to market the hell out of it, and those people are going to be raving fans, and I'm sending stuff to their work and chocolates and door knocking all around. I did an open house a few weeks ago, and I took my 17-year-old daughter with me, and she handled the iPad, the cookies, and all that stuff. Increasing my price point, I'm not selling quite as many homes. I don't know if that's a good answer, but increasing my price point just gives me more time.
Totally.
And
how has that happened? Have you just become more confident? Have your skills gotten better? Yes, all the above?
I'm certain.
Yep.
I didn't go through this to be average. Failure is not an option. And, why sell $100,000 houses when I can sell $600,000 houses? Now, I have to say this, during that period, it really is a change in mindset. And in my opinion, the law of attraction is huge. For me, gratitude, you have no idea how grateful I am. And actually, all the terrible things I've been through got me to this point. I never imagined I'd be sitting on a stage sharing my dirty, dark secrets. But it all works out. I have choices. I can take my kids on a vacation. I'm not stuck in a tiny little condo with no car, no money, and 3 angry teenagers. I have choices now. And if I can keep my head straight or actually stay out of there by myself, amazing things happen, and they've continued to happen, and the right people just keep showing up in my life.
Beautiful. Because of who you're being,
Yeah.
right, and the actions that you're taking.
Yes.
I love what Amy said. She said, I now have choices. I want you guys to get that when you lead generate consistently, like all 3 of these guys are doing up here, you no longer have to tolerate. Do you get that? When you lead generate, you no longer have to tolerate. And you're not just prospecting to get business, you're prospecting to have the choice of who you're going to work with and who you're not. Make sense, guys? Okay, Aaron, one last thing to say to these guys. What would you say to them, sending them off? If you were sitting down with them and you had 2 sentences, what would it be?
If it's at all realistic, sign up for coaching. Do it and sign up. If it's not, if $500 is the difference between you eating or not, and I get that, I've been there, implement 3 ideas. Be committed to them, and in 3 months you won't care about the monthly for coaching.
Awesome.
People who say this is hokey, getting up, jumping up and down, if you do the things that others won't, you'll get to do the things that others don't.
Nice. Yeah. Amy? Maybe one last thing for me? One last thing you want to say to me?
I would just say, do it as soon as you can. Don't wait. Don't wait 10, 15 years into the business, and have the life that you deserve to have and that your family deserves to have. Because that $6,000 a year is a drop in the bucket compared to everything that you get back.
Right on. Love it. Awesome. Jeremy?
I would say take care of the caregivers so you can service your customers at a high level. I didn't grow up, really counting calories or thinking about the fact that Pop Tarts were bad for you until I got coaching. And my coach is a health nut. He tells me how to eat and what to do. We have that conversation. I feel like if I take care of the caregiver, I can serve my customers at a higher level.
Excellent. Love it. Take care of yourself, and you can take care of everybody else. I love it. Guys, have you got some good stuff from these men and women? Come on, let's